Today, I want to begin with a quote. And the quote is from Byron Katie. And it reads, "You are the teacher and the healer that you have been waiting for." Now, this is interesting, isn't it, man? Because we, if you think about it, are pretty conditioned to think that there's like a teacher or a healer out there that's going to do it for us. You know, someone pretty advanced, right? Someone more advanced than us. But actually, the more that we awaken, or the more that you awaken, the more you come to realize that it's you. Now, at first, man, when you hear this, you might hear it with your ego. So you might not accept it. You know, you'd be like, yeah, no, I can kind of get my head around that. I can kind of make sense of that. But the truth is, you're not trying to make sense of it. You're trying to understand it on that deeper level where you get it intuitively. So what it really means to be your own teacher and healer is first to become what you really are. Now here's the thing, man. You already are what you are. So it's to realize what you are. In other words, man, to be very clear, what needs to happen is you need to shift your perception and you need to shift your consciousness. Because when you do this, your direct awareness of what you are changes. And essentially, man, you can see more. And what you see is yourself. But yourself is recontextualized, right? So you don't experience yourself as you normally have throughout your life. It's actually different. You realize yourself, ready? As divine. So you can see and experience divinity in yourself. In other words, man, you finally start to see higher self, God, truth, consciousness in you. You see beyond yourself. And I realize that I'm using self with a small s and a big S, both here. And the truth is, it's because you are both, right? I spent a lot of time doing this work, like just trying to only be the big S self, the truth, the higher self. But the wiser thing to do is to realize that you are both. Because when you are being your own teacher and healer, what happens is you take on this maturity. And when you're in this maturity, you kind of just know to accept all parts of yourself. When you're teaching yourself, sometimes you're going to be treating yourself like a child. You're going to be holding yourself, So as you do this, really embrace that, yeah, you might be divine sometimes. You might feel very, very conscious, very loving. You might feel like love. But don't disregard or disown the lower, smaller parts of you. Maybe the sad parts of you, the child parts of you. So do the best you can to see yourself holistically, to grasp and to be with all parts of yourself. Really, this will happen on its own as you step into the role of the teacher or the healer. Now, as you know, as you can imagine, this video would not be one of my videos unless I made it spiritual or metaphysical at one point. So, I'm going to zero in specifically on the facet of being your own teacher. And really, I mean being the one who awakens you. Now, we could understand a teacher as someone who points things out or who corrects your spiritual understanding. Sure. But really, there is here for me to share with you today, man, something metaphysical and something absolute. Okay, you ready? All that really needs to happen for you to be your own teacher on a spiritual and metaphysical level is for you to realize that you are the only one here. When you awaken, you realize that you are the only thing here. All that's left is consciousness, and all that's left is you, right? You could say that when your experience becomes absolute, and it's just you in this higher self way, it's just you experiencing reality or higher self. Who else do you go to, right? There's no one else left. So in other words, the only thing that is left is your higher self, and that is what you use to awaken yourself. Really, it's not even that you use it to awaken yourself, it's that you just become that, and then by virtue of becoming that, do you awaken. This is, for me, the deepest way that you can possibly experience yourself. Is the true meaning of higher self or God. Another way of putting it is, it's when you experience your sovereignty. You know, I'll be honest, man, that experience of sovereign higher consciousness is really advanced, okay? I think you know that. But I share it with you because it's possible. And my God, man, when it's just you, it can be a bit scary. Yes, it can be a bit like, dude, this is intense. But you know what's awesome, man? Is you give it to yourself. Really, dude, that's the message of this video. Is that as you begin to grow and awaken more and more and more, you just give it to yourself more. And when I say it, I mean consciousness in the form of awakening and healing. And you know what, man? Maybe we should touch on the healing side of things too, because when I was beginning this work, I never really had a huge focus on healing. I've been lucky in that sense. I've been lucky in that, like, I haven't had tons to heal. But then I became more conscious and I was like, actually, you know, I do have a lot to heal. And so I began to do that. But when I say I began to do that, what part of me do you think I'm talking about? I'm talking about my higher self. So I began to realize that I can be with myself in a particular way where I heal. And you can do this too. And it starts with being with yourself, right? Really simple, I know, man, but you won't heal unless you are present and unless you are conscious. Because what you use to heal yourself is consciousness, and you don't access that or experience that unless you're present. So first thing to do, man, is get yourself present. Specifically, get present with yourself. Because, you know, you can meditate, dude, and you can kind of just like be present. You can just have like nothing on your mind. You can be in that kind of empty state. Sure, man. But I want you to be present with yourself. I'm talking about a very personal and spiritual experience of being with you. It could be being with your energy. It's the simplest way, man, really, to just experience healing, is to just literally just be with your energy right now. For me, how it feels is like, it feels like my energy just settles when I'm with myself. And it's like, thanks, you know. It's doing yourself a favor spiritually. But the truth is, this healing, it goes a lot deeper than just being with yourself. You know, this is something that you can do, you know, just every day, anytime, right? But healing, as you know, is deep. It's very, very deep. I'll tell you one way I've been healing recently, man, is I've been allowing myself to make noises that I've repressed my entire life. Noises like just, and like, just like moans and just sounds and noises that when I was growing up, they weren't cool. They were weird. Maybe they were really like feminine. So maybe I'm making really feminine sounds or noises or even moans. Healing for me right now is being my own healer by accessing a state of consciousness where I can be conscious with myself and then allowing myself to make noises that I just haven't made because, again, I was conditioned to think that they were weird. Maybe you were too. And now as I do that and I make these noises and sounds and whatever else, it's like feeling the parts of myself that I've disowned. And in this way I heal myself. And really, man, this is just one way of healing that I've just happened to be doing right now. There's so many different ways you can heal yourself. And I invite you to find your own way. Be where you're at and then feel into what you need to heal. You know, you've probably already heard, man, like feeling is healing. Just placing consciousness on you and your stuff begins the process of healing, you know? So if there's one thing you're going to take from this part of the video, it's healing is consciousness. And you are consciousness, right? Same thing with awakening, actually. Yeah. Okay, man. My friend, we are going to wrap this one up here. I just want to say one final thing. Start to really identify with your higher self. Yeah, of course you got to be with the lower parts of yourself too, man. But really start to identify as infinite intelligence, as God, as higher self. When you do this, becoming your own healer and teacher is very natural. And really it's the only way it can happen. You know, it's the only way that you can heal and awaken yourself. Okay, my friend, we're going to wrap things up here. Lots of love. Take care. And as always, man, peace.